Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette, and joining me today is Dr. Marie. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you
Here,
so much for coming on the podcast today.
thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, Dr. Marie, what is it that you do and how do you do it? Tell us more of your story.
Well, I have a teeny tiny public practice that started about 14 years ago, but I've been doing this work since my 20s. And it is primarily working with pure energy, which everybody says that, so it's hard to describe that. But I would say I met Native medicine people in my 20s working with the American Indian movement. I went in there for civil rights, not for spirituality, and got exposed to spirituality. And then I met a series of oral tradition teachers. They have no website, they had no books, no t-shirts, nothing, and you were kind of meant to find them. And so out of about 50 years of practice, I've worked with four people who I would sit with them in silence, just silence, and my entire world would change. Sometimes the bones in my face would change. I would have friends that would say, "Go look in the mirror. Your whole face has changed." And after that session, nothing would be said. It would just be like, okay. So it was kind of like they were this liaison with spirit. And they had nothing to do with it. They didn't give me insight. They didn't tell me I was going to be the next high priestess of something or other. I didn't come from the Pleiades. I wasn't a goddess in Atlantis or anything like that.
Mhm.
And I never forgot that. So it turned out I was good at doing that kind of work. So if you come work with me or if you were coming into a group session, it's very boring. If you're not energy sensitive, you go, oh, these people are just sitting here quietly and paying money for it. That's ridiculous. However, if you're energy sensitive, you're going to go, holy cow. I mean, just walking into the room. So, along with this kind of silent work that I do with people, I do have a PhD in health psychology. And health psychology means not pathologizing and not medicating, except as a last resort. Sometimes I have suggested to people, go on medication for a year. Let's see what happens. But it's more about changing lifestyle, changing what you eat, and getting rid of environmental toxins, which produce symptoms that look like mental health issues, and they're not. So I also, along with the silent work, I use psychological tools to have people get them up and running in this world, especially if you are energy sensitive or psychic or have precognition or you're telepathic, like they're now discovering with the telepathy tapes that there is a scientific evidence of a population that meets telepathically with 100% accuracy. So you're not diagnosed as autistic, you're not ADHD, and yet you're not normal. And one of the things I really don't like right now is calling special people neurodivergent, whereas I think mainstream society, at least in America, is neurodivergent. If you are supporting what's going on in this country, you are neurodivergent. That is not a normal human being. And all the sensitive people, to me, they're normal. So I call, in Harry Potter language, muggles neurodivergent, and people like me, normal. But that's not mainstream.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the work I do. I work with small groups and I work online. Always prefer to work in person, but that's not easy to do. So I can work on Zoom and it goes very successfully.
Mhm.
But I also am not someone you want to come to if you want to become a professional psychic or energy worker. I don't teach a methodology. I don't like the new age industry. It's unregulated. There's a lot of unhealed people in it, and it does a lot of damage because it now acts like a religion, telling you how to think and how to believe about spirit. And
Mhm.
what I like to do is let you find out your relationship with spirit, whatever you call it, Jesus, God, Allah, Buddha, Yoda, the universe. I don't care what you call it, but each of us has a different way of relating. Just like if you have five kids in the family, they're all going to have a different relationship with their mom and dad because they're different people. They're not all going to have the same relationship. So why would I say this is how you all have to relate to spirit. That's a cult. That's a kind of cult-like thinking.
Mhm.
So that's basically the work that I do.
Mm, wow, I love that. What a breath of fresh air your perspective is on this, because I think throughout different time zone or time frame or cultures, there has been little cult or specific religions or how people see and feel spirit. And I love that you do what you do, how you do it, because I get the sense that you don't really pick a box, you do it more freely and as
Exactly.
it should be for spirit to experience life in however way that they choose to. And whichever incarnation, however their souls want to speak and to create as well. So I love that about you and how you do it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, I have my own practice, and a lot of new age people, if you ask them enough questions and you watch how they respond, you will find they don't have a practice and they don't have training. I've studied with so many teachers. I know 4 different kinds of remote healing. So if somebody wants to learn that or has a gift for it, I have all these different ways to help them learn it, not just one way. And I'm not selling a method, so it doesn't matter to me. But I meet a lot of new age people, and their training and education is I had a vision, I had a dream, my guides told me, my angels told me, or I know I'm from the Pleiades or whatever. And then the more I know them, I see they don't have a lifestyle that to me is compatible with really being in a deep relationship with spirit daily. Like, and I don't mean being on a prayer rug or anything. I mean that they are honoring their body and they are learning things, doing their own incarnation work, not just being here, being a magnificent channel. We have our own work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
agree.
I would also encourage people, whoever you work with, ask them a lot of questions. And if you feel they're dancing around, I guarantee you they are dancing around and they shouldn't be. They
Yeah.
should be
Yeah.
really transparent.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And I think so many of us were in different cliques and boxes. We do work that are not fulfilling. We know it, we feel it, we see it, yet we do nothing about it. Would you say in your work you guide people to do that? I don't want to say help, but more so guide, because maybe it has to be a choice on their end to want to see change or progress, if that makes sense.
I've found there's kind of for people who, well, first of all, I run life charts on people. I want to see the big picture. Why are they here in this incarnation? And that gives me kind of a more objective overview. And I will say, in all the years of doing readings, et cetera, maybe 4 muggles have ever come to see me.
Mm,
And they just came for fun, for a reading. And, when I get the car, am I getting the promotion? Mostly people who find me and stick with me have tried everything and nothing's helping. And they're kind of at their wits' end.
yeah.
So those folks, there's a little bit of a honeymoon period. I see this with everybody, at least in my paradigm, my world here, that spirit is very benevolent in the beginning. Like there's openings and you feel things. And I tell people this is courtship. This is spirit showing you what life is going to be like when you kind of work through your stuff and you get a little bit more on an even keel where you've healed a lot of your stuff and you're now in a relationship with spirit. So it's kind of like all the gurus I've known from the East, my own spiritual teacher, the first years they do miraculous things and then they stop. And we've talked about it, and it's like the miraculous things are to show you it exists, the unknown exists, energy exists, your psychic visions are real, your ability to remote heal is real. Okay, now that you believe it, we can take away the dog and pony show and get to work, which is just like
Yeah.
courtship, like you have a courtship. And in the old days, there was formal courting for like a year and a half, 2 years. So you could really get to know somebody before you got into a more serious relationship. So
Mhm.
spirit is a relationship. So
Yeah.
I find that that happens first. And then after that, spirit pretty much takes over. So what I do, I'm just like a plug. I plug into one and I plug into spirit and just say, go to it. Like, a Zoom meeting, I'm Zoom.
Yeah.
And, when people say, how would you describe yourself? My
Mhm.
two favorite ways to describe myself is I'm salt. So Spirit says we need a little Marie here. Let's put Marie in the Inland Empire, this conservative area, because we need some salt there. And the other way I describe myself is as a gym, which is I have a lot of tools, a lot of things, including personal trainers. But you have to come here and do the work.
Mhm.
So I don't have a great message about the evolution of humanity and the world. I can talk about those things, but that doesn't help people. That's just fun, academic, intellectual, and sometimes psychic stuff to talk about.
Mhm.
But the present is helping a person get through the honeymoon period without thinking it's always going to be that way.
Mhm.
And then helping create a space for them to continue to find that relationship. So ultimately, my job is to become obsolete where they
Mm.
don't need me. And that is not a good business model. Just want to point that out. So,
Yeah.
but that's also, I was a professor for a while, and I said that was my job then too. My job is to teach you not the material, but how to learn things. Then you don't need professors anymore. But that's my job is to do that. And my favorite thing, which I talked to you about before we started talking formally, is I want people to become secret agents. So I didn't go public with this work and I was forced to do so. I literally couldn't get a job and the accreditation, and I couldn't teach full time anymore. And this was the only thing I could think of doing as a last resort. So it wasn't like I was chosen, there were signs, I have a mission. No, none of that. It was just like I had a dirty rug and 10 pillows. And I sat there cursing spirit saying, if you want this to work, make it effing work because
Yeah.
I'm out of ideas. And I'd never been in business before. And that was the whole trip. All the egos that came to eat me alive in business. Ugh, it was terrifying. But
Yeah.
what I'm more interested in is that all the years of working, I was a community organizer. I worked with gang kids. I worked with severely emotionally disturbed kids in a lockdown facility. We had bodyguards in a rubber room and straitjackets. I worked at a lot of different places. And in all of them, I was what I call the secret agent, which is I used my reading abilities to teach and to help people. I used energy. I never said a word about it. And the people who noticed it would come up to me and say, who are you? Like, you're not a normal computer teacher when I was teaching gang kids computers, or you're not a normal professor. What the hell are you doing in this class? Like, I could see these waves of energy coming off of you. And instead of them meeting someone who goes, you're crazy, you need to get diagnosed, I'd say, yeah, there were. I was putting out a lot of energy today. And then we would talk and I would help them.
Mhm.
And I had a salary. So I charged no money or very little money. And I love doing that. And I imagine if we had all these citizens who developed these incredible gifts, and instead of trying to go into business and go on these giant ego trips about I'm a psychic and I'm a healer,
Mm.
were that way in everyday life where everyday people could find them and get help in a college or get help in the teachers union or be a garbage man and you touch some of the people that you pick up garbage for.
Mm.
So that's what I'm interested in is secret agents. And that's the crowd that tend to stick around me. The others get, there's a big ego trip. I will say something like, what if you're meant to be a janitor? That's God's calling for you. They
Mm.
never come back after I even suggest that. And I say it as nicely as possible. Like, what if that's a real option for you? They're out the door. Like, I'm not paying money to hear that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
But that to me, like if you go back to the original Christianity,
Mhm.
that's what you're supposed to do. That's who Jesus was. He was made into this institution to control the world
Mhm.
by power hungry idiots who know nothing about Jesus. And Jesus didn't write one word of the Bible. People did over a period of, I believe, 1,600 years and four different continents
Mm.
by by men. Also, I want to add that. But Jesus was a secret agent until they made him not a secret agent. So that's the kind of work that I support. And that's what I think we should be doing. And why is because, first of all, you get to use your God-given gifts. Second of all, the quality of life is extraordinary. I mean, to understand that you're touching lives instead of, I got 600 extra clients this month, which is what marketing and social media aims for. If
Hmm.
I say, wow, I touched this person's life, that's like a sunrise to me. That's a
Hmm.
memory that, on bad days, I go, well, today sucks, but yesterday I had this incredible conversation, or I had this meeting, or the child hugged me, or I talked to this owner about their dog and they changed their treatment of their dog.
Yeah.
That's to me how we want to live. And then how much money and cars and all that crap doesn't matter.
Hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't not matter completely. If you're in dire poverty, of course that matters. But when you have that kind of internal uh, thermometer of quality of life, the external thermometer becomes pretty irrelevant because externals make you happy for like what, a month, a
Yeah.
day? I mean, it's cocaine. I got a car, I got a new car. 6 months later, you're like, now what? You need another snort of something, a
Mm.
new jacket, a new lover, a new pet, a new house, and something. It's
Yeah.
exhausting.
Yeah.
This is something different where every day is like a little something happens that is miraculous, and you understand it's not 100% your doing. It's you participating in an opportunity given to us by Spirit. Spirit gives us opportunities to help. Do
Yeah.
we step into it or not? And part of what's happening now that's terrifying is that if you are, and this has always been true for me, I've had to be very careful until the telepathy tapes came out, which is opening a lot of doors now because Yale and Stanford are getting heavily involved in understanding and supervising these scientific experiments to say, wow, this telepathy stuff really exists. The kids can these non-speaking kids put their hand on a book,
Hmm.
and 30 seconds later, they can tell you what's in paragraph 4, page 85. What the hell is that? Right? So now it's out of the closet more. But for us normal folks who are not autistic, we don't have mental health issues, but we see ghosts. We talk to dead people. A tree will stop me, and I will stop and have a conversation with a tree or a boulder.
Hmm.
Where do we find a place to find out not only is that okay, that's how we were meant to be. This is how indigenous people live
Yeah.
before industrialization and commercialism came in.
Hmm.
So I'm also through group meditations try to create that space where you can show up and you're not pathologized, you're not diagnosed. And we talk about if you're super sensitive, how do you live in the regular world that's energy blind?
Yeah.
Because it's really hard. I used to isolate a lot when I was younger, and then I've had to get very strong internally to stay sensitive, to stay as an empath and be able to be among so-called normal people, muggles, and not get exhausted, wiped out, manipulated, and taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Well, that's a huge thing I think that's going on now, and the energy in the world right now is pretty crazy. And the energy sensitive people, if they're not finding a way to develop and get some companionship, they're going to self-medicate more than ever.
Yeah.
You will
Yeah.
find, these guys weeding out and eating gummies and drinking, overeating, anything, because no one's saying to them, yes, you're really feeling this, and let's talk about how to regulate that. And there's nothing wrong with you. Unfortunately, this should be normal human behavior, but it's not. It's seen as an outlier.
Yeah.
I'm on a mission. I'm on my soapbox, like,
I love that.
well,
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Yeah, everything you've shared, I've experienced. All the labels and I've always been connected to spirit, and I'm still making meaning of it because it's more accepted now than it was in earlier centuries. So, yeah, I'm making meaning of it.
and that's forever though. It's not just like we figure it out. I mean, to me, it's a relationship. It's a marriage, really. It's my relationship with spirit is completely different now than it was 10 years ago. And me learning about myself and places I still have ego issues and old wounds, and my
Yeah.
work continues. Like sometimes people come back to me and say, I did what you told me. Now what? And I said, that's like coming back to me and saying, I brushed my teeth for a week. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
Well, the first answer is keep brushing your teeth. Like you don't, it's not getting you somewhere. What we're doing is putting practices into place that will keep you up and running.
Mm.
So,
Mhm. Yeah.
that's that new age thing. If I do this, I'll get this. And that's capitalism. That is not spirituality.
Yeah.
Brushing your teeth means you feel good. You don't have bad breath. You don't go to the dentist. Your smile is nice. And it doesn't take long to do it. So when we do that with spirit, the relationship, I think, changes over the years. I know it has for me. And my own healing has never stopped because I'm constantly making mistakes and learning. I go back to very old things in childhood, and 20 years later, I'll go back again
Mhm.
and learn even a deeper layer of what happened back then.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. People don't seem to be excited about that. And I said, you are excited to know your mate or your children. Why aren't you excited to know you?
Yeah.
Why aren't you excited? Like, I had a great session with me today, and I found out that this happened when I was a kid, and I thought it meant this, and now it means this, and this is why I do this stuff as an adult. And wow, so interesting.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
people seem to be bored with themselves, or maybe they've been taught to be bored with themselves, which
Mm.
is a shame.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for sharing. As we wrap up, I have two questions for you. The first one is, what is the meaning of life for you?
Well, we're getting into like quantum physics here also. I think that there is this huge intelligence out there, it's not a white man called God. You can call it God, but it's not a white man. It's something out there, and it's vibrant and it has a current. So we go out like as little atoms to have experience in the material world that you simply cannot have when you're pure spirit. When you're pure spirit, you don't get your heart broken. When you're pure spirit, you don't get cancer. You don't feel pain like that. So we go out and learn those things. It changes us, and then we bring it back into the whole. So I would say spirit is also alive, vibrant, evolving, and changing. So that on the big level is what we're here to do, which sounds rather impersonal because
Mm.
people seem to think I'm here to evolve, to get more money or more cars or something.
Mm.
On
Yeah.
a very personal day-to-day level, I think we come here on a mission. Like when I read a life path, I'll see a mission. Like you're here to be a doctor. You already planned it. You are going to be a doctor. So there's no reason to intend and manifest. You already did it. When you were a ball of light with the other balls of light, you said, I want to be a doctor and I want to be single or I want to have a family. Now, what we have to deal with is how do we handle our decision? Am I going to be a drunk doctor and then be a doctor who only wants to make money? Will I be a doctor who rips off the prescription med system and makes billions of dollars? Will I
Mm.
be doctor without borders? So we choose to do something. Now we have a high end of that path and a low end.
Mm.
And that's what I help people with. And we have a lot in the middle.
Yeah.
So you can be a doctor, but you can be way down here. And you're definitely going to come back and do that again. You failed the class. Or you can be a doctor and be pretty close to the high end of that journey.
Yeah.
And if so, then you finish the I'm going to be a doctor class. And
Mm.
when you come back again, if you come back again, now this time you might want to be a prisoner of war and see what that feels like.
Mm.
So on that very personal level, we made a commitment to come here. And I used to see this in college, the students who had never gone to school before. I worked in these schools. They were vocational colleges, which I love because they were always students who were not academic and couldn't make it in the academic world, which is a very narrow world. And they'd go, yay, college. And by year two, they go, oh my God, I'm never going to make it.
Mm.
So I think it's the same. We're up there as a ball of light going, yay, life on earth. And
Yeah.
then we come down here and we go, oh my God, I'm never going to make it. Because it looks like a good idea. So on that personal level, it's a big journey of constantly choosing here's what's happening. How am I going to deal with it? But intending and manifesting, that's some new age BS as far as I'm concerned.
Mm,
I could explain that more, but we're running out of time about how I feel about intending and manifesting because it can be done, but it causes tremendous issues. Like if you demand it, demand it, demand it, spirit will give it to you because you're not going to shut up until you get it. So
yeah.
you will get something that typically is very bad for you. You just want it because you're like a little kid. And then once you get it, it's a nightmare.
Mm,
And then spirit can go, see, trust me, instead of your little brain that wants more chocolate and, more toys kind of thing.
yeah.
And people don't like this because they say, well, we have no free will. And I said, yes, when you're a ball of light, that's your free will. And
Hmm.
your free will here is how will you handle the trail? The trail's there. Or it's
Yeah.
like the ocean. You're a surfer. You don't manifest the ocean or the waves. It's the
Mm,
ocean. How do you ride the ocean? So that's us as far as I'm concerned. And that's a very Eastern outlook. And Westerners hate it. They want to become New Age so they can get more stuff. They tie to their church so they'll get abundance and prosperity. And
yeah.
I don't believe in any of that. I think that's all brainwashing to support industry,
Yeah.
not spirituality.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much for sharing. Quickly before we go here, where can people find you? Do you have a website? Where on
yeah,
social media are you?
easiest way to find me is Dr. Marie, drmarie.org on the internet. And then most people seem to be paying attention to me on TikTok, and that's Dr. Marie Life Path Healings. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. I have a friend, he does TikTok live, and he's a really serious spiritual being.
Mhm.
And he's found this huge audience on TikTok. So he's going to tutor me on how to do those sessions and avoid the crazy people and try to be of service, not to have it be a circus, because apparently there's a huge learning curve, and he's hopefully going to save me at least 2 years of a learning curve. So I'll be on there more in the near future, but right now you can go to my website. My phone number's there. You can text me. I'm small. I will always stay small. I'm user friendly. I have a 30-minute introductory session for free. You can always call me, go
Mhm.
on Calendly and make an appointment, or call, text and make an appointment and meet me and see if I'm someone you want to work with. Because I would never work with anybody I didn't get a chance to meet because there's too many crazies out there. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, Dr. Marie, thank you so much for your time and thank you for coming on the podcast today.
thanks for having me. It was a real pleasure meeting you.
You're
Thanks.
welcome. You're welcome.